Harmonies, let's go a little bit further and dig into this. Easy to have your students learn the fact that 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5. I have my students pedal that, so they're getting a little pedal exercise. And they say, one of the points that I would like to make about this is verbalizing is so important as we learn more about harmonies. Verbalizing, talking all the time. And so my students say, 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is minor, 7 is diminished, and 1 is major. And you can shape that in any way you want. But I think it's really important for students to realize and to articulate the fact that not all the chords in a key system are major. You know, it points out very clearly why 1 and 4 and 5 are so important. They're the only major chords in our key system. So that's why I tell my students there are hundreds, maybe even thousands of pieces that have been composed that just use 1 and 4 and 5. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we are verbalizing about chords in a key. Another thing I have my students do is to play the 1 and 4 and 5 chords in all of their inversions. And then they play 4. If 1 and 4 and 5 are so important, let's give them special significance with an exercise that just works with 1 and 4. Before I have my students play that simple chord exercise, but you know, there is a level at which the students are learning tremendous new skills that they can take a chord and put the bottom note on top and play first inversion. Now that bottom note goes on top, and you play second inversion, etc. A wonderful, wonderful skill that for students to accumulate. And we can recognize those on the music and start labeling them. This is an F major chord in second inversion, etc., etc. Really, really important to name and label. So that's one of the standard warm-up drills that I have my students do. Before they play, they have to announce what they're going to play and say, I'm going to play the chord exercise in E major. In E major, 1 is E, 4 is A, and 5 is B. I think announcements like that are so important. I have my students announce all about their scales, you know. When a student plays a scale, they have to announce it. I'm going to play E major. E major has 4 sharps. They're F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. In E major, listen to this. In E major, my right hand 4th finger plays on D sharp, and my left hand 4th finger plays on F sharp. Get all the problems with the fingering out of the way. The 4th finger is obviously the finger that will make the most mistakes in a scale. If you stipulate in your announcement where the 4th finger plays, you're home free. So don't allow your students to play a scale without an announcement. And they learn so much when they announce minor scales. I'm going to play D minor. D minor is related to F major, which has 1 flat, B flat. In D minor, my right hand 4th finger will play on C or C sharp, depending on the form of the minor scale. And my left hand 4th finger will play on E. Yeah. It's so interesting that our announcements clarify our thinking. And when we clarify our thinking, we play accurately. So if you want to build accuracy in your students, think about how you can have your students think through the activity through an announcement before they play. Yeah, great. I just think that verbalizing is so important. Verbalizing clarifies the thinking. Wonderful. Talking about analysis and naming the harmonies, I have a little drill for my students. I say, pick a note, any note, and play all of the major and minor chords that use that note. Let's do G, okay? So the students say, G is the root of G major. G is the root of G minor. G is the third of E flat major. G is the third of G. G is the third of E minor. G is the fifth of C major. G is the fifth of C minor. There are two ways. I was thinking about the two ways. There are two ways to get students started with this. There's an easy way. Put G, allow G to be the root, allow G to be the third, and allow G to be the fifth. So you play G on the bottom of your hand. G is the root of G major. G is the root of G minor. Put G in the middle of your hand. G is the third of E flat major. G is the third of E minor. Put G on the top of your hand. G is the fifth of C major. G is the fifth of C minor. And G. Now that's the easy version because we're letting G be the active. We're letting the G actually illustrate what we're saying. G is the third, so put it in the middle. Okay. G is the fifth, put it on top. The harder version is to keep G on the bottom and play those chords. G is the root of G major. G is the root of G minor. G is the third of E flat major. G is the third of E minor. G is the fifth of C major. G is the fifth of C minor. My goal with that little exercise goes beyond just having the students think clearly about chords and inversions. My goal is to use that that series of chords for an arpeggio drill. Let's take the note E. So you play E. E is the root of E major. E is the third of E minor. E is the root of C minor. And now E is the third of C major. E is the third of C sharp. E is the fifth of A major. And the third. Yeah, good. So they name it and they play it, and it's a very helpful theory activity. Name the harmonies, analyze the harmonies. Why? Why are we focusing on harmonies? Because that is the harmonies provide the color of our music. And if we're to be artists, we are involved in harmonic color.